Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still repeating history on this chart, while the price is still playing out this bearish divergence on this Bitcoin chart, while Ethereum is also playing out this bearish divergence, and Chainlink is sitting on the edge of potentially a major break to the downside. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and right now Bitcoin is technically still within a larger bull market, still playing out this bull market signal that confirmed around 3 months ago. And the last 2 times this signal confirmed, we saw a bull run in the price of Bitcoin over the next 1 year approximately. But of course, during these larger bull markets, we can see short-term dumps and little slowdowns here and there during the larger bull market. And so over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart right now, the weekly Bitcoin MACD is still looking very similar at the moment to exactly 1 year ago. First of all, around October, we saw a bullish crossover in 2023 and also October this year. And then what came next was a huge bullish move in the price of Bitcoin with almost no pullbacks up until around early to mid-December. And then right around there last year, we saw a slowdown, losing momentum in this indicator around early to mid-December. And we've seen the exact same thing again this year. And so what came next, if we're looking at last year, was a lot of sideways price action, which is short-term bearish and short-term bullish price action. So little dumps and things like that here and there in the short term, basically for around 1 to 2 months, all the way from around the early part of December up until the very end of January, even early February, is when we finally started that next major move. And so as I've been saying recently here on the channel, I continue to expect a larger slowdown in the price of Bitcoin, at least for the next few weeks, maybe longer, maybe a month or more, but at least for the next few weeks, I continue to expect a slowdown in the price of Bitcoin, as we've already seen over the last few weeks as expected. And so this price action that we're seeing right now should not be surprising. If you've been watching my videos over the last few weeks, I've been talking about this playing out. And once again, I continue to expect this to play out. But as I said earlier, this can play out within a larger bull run or a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this 4-day Bitcoin chart, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But of course, taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, as of right now, we're still seeing that massive bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, which is already confirmed. And so, as I said around a week ago, this is the first significant warning signal for the price of Bitcoin on the larger time frames. But at the very least, what it does mean right now is that we're likely going to see a cool off, basically a slowdown in the short term for Bitcoin, at least for a number of weeks, maybe longer, but at least for a number of weeks. I expect either a pullback or choppy sideways price action, just a slowdown here as the most likely outcome. And so this chart right here, this massive bearish divergence, coincides with this chart right here, showing a loss in bullish momentum in the MACD, very similar to what we saw around 1 year ago. But remember, technically, this can all occur during a larger bull market. For example, we might see a little bit more of a slowdown like this, and then eventually another bullish move later on. That can happen. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we still have a major point of resistance at just above 100,000, closer towards around 102,000, based on this 1618 Fibonacci extension level acting as resistance. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term on the daily time frame, we still have this bearish divergence actively playing out exactly as expected. Obviously, I've been warning about this bearish pattern since over a week ago, all the way back around here. And since then, we've continued to see a bit of a short-term pullback and some choppy sideways price action in the short term as the most common outcomes, the most likely outcomes from a bearish divergence. And so this is still playing out on the daily time frame, as well as the bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, currently affecting the price of Bitcoin here. And if we're taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, of course, we're still rejecting from this line of previous support, now acting as new resistance, sitting at close to around $100,000. And we also have a bit of resistance in this area right here based on the volume profile indicator sitting in between around 97,000 to 98,000. So if we see a bit of a bounce here in the short term, expect resistance around there. And then, like I just said, if we break out back above 98,000, expect resistance closer towards 100,000. And as for short-term support, if we break to the downside here below these previous lows, which is sitting at around 92,500, then in that case, we have this area of support in between around 91,000 to 92,000. But just before that, we have support at around 92,500. But if we break below that area, below 91 to 92,000, in the short term, obviously that would be bad news, and we could likely drop down towards around 87,000, and 87k would be a critical level on the price chart, because if we break that level, we would likely go much lower. But obviously, between now and then, like I just said, we have that support at around 87,000, and we also have a lot of support at close towards around 92,000, give or take. And so that is the situation for Bitcoin right now. We can remain within a larger bull market when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, but I do expect a larger slowdown, at least over the next few weeks, for the price of Bitcoin, especially due to this bearish divergence playing out right now on the weekly time frame, which I've already been warning about for a while now on the channel. But if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take a lot of trades over on BTNex, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNex down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is an exclusive deposit bonus that you can only claim using that link. So if you simply just click that link to make your account and then deposit $100 and start trading, you get a $20 bonus. Or if you deposit just $500, you get a $100 bonus. Or if you deposit just 1,000 USDT and start trading, you get a $200 bonus straight into your new account. But that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your account and start trading on that account. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, BitNex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But for whatever reason, if you don't want BitNex, there is also Bybit as another exchange out there, another option that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bybit as well down below this video. And if you use that link, you can claim a 500 USDT position airdrop, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, and as of right now, the price of Ethereum can remain within this larger bull market. Obviously, as we could see, we're still seeing higher lows and higher highs in the price of ETH on the larger time frames. And so while we're holding above this ascending line of support right here, sitting at around 2.6k, technically speaking, the price of ETH is still within a multi-year bull market that we've been in since basically the middle of 2022. But of course, during these much larger bullish markets, we can see short-term corrections along the way, which right now we're currently seeing. But while the price of ETH is currently rejecting from resistance, playing out a bit of a short-term correction, this is potentially forming a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern with a left shoulder, a head, and right now possibly a right shoulder forming. So in order to actually confirm this pattern, we need to see some sort of recovery at some point over the next few weeks or over the next month or so, because remember, each one of these candles is one entire week. And so even if it takes 1 to 2 months to eventually get back up towards this line of resistance, that can still be okay. That can still confirm this inverse head and shoulders pattern, but ultimately that needs to happen at some point in order to actually confirm this pattern, because if we never break out above this resistance, or if we take, let's just say, 6 months to eventually recover, then that would be too long. It would not confirm this pattern. And so ultimately, in order to confirm this pattern and set up a major bullish price target, we need to see that recovery at some point in the next 1 or 2 months or so, back up towards around 4,000, give or take, and then confirming a breakout with a weekly candle close above that resistance, above these local highs right here. And if that actually happens, if that confirms, then that will set up a bullish price target at almost $7,000 per Ethereum. But remember, right now, that price target is not in play. It is not active because this pattern is not yet confirmed. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum chart, of course, we're further playing out this major rejection from this area of resistance, sitting in between 3.9k to 4.1k. And obviously, I've been warning about that area of resistance since before before the price even entered into that area the first time right here. And that's exactly where we saw a rejection from as expected. We also have this short-term resistance right here based on previous resistance and also previous support. Now, once again, acting as new resistance, sitting in between around 34.30 to 35.60. And that's also exactly where we saw a short-term rejection from, as we can see. And so for now, those are the areas of resistance I'll be paying attention to for the price of Ethereum. And as for short-term support, we do have some support at just above 3.2K, but below that level, we also have a major area of support down here in between around $3,000 to 3.1K. And below that, more support down here in between around 2.7K to 2.8K. And just like Bitcoin, Ethereum is also playing out a bit of a bearish divergence here on the daily time frame, as I've also been talking about basically every day over the last few weeks here. Since all the way back up here, I've been warning about this bearish divergence, saying that a pullback is very likely. And since then, we've seen that exactly play out as expected. So right now, I continue to expect at the very least choppy sideways price action, but quite possibly a continued pullback in the coming days or weeks, because right now, technically speaking, this bearish divergence is still active. And so that's the situation in the shorter term, in the coming days potentially, and of course the longer term, if we can eventually recover in the next few months, obviously we can remain within a much larger bull market when we're zooming out looking at the bigger picture. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Chainlink is on the edge of potentially a major break to the downside, because right now we're sitting close to around that $21 level. So if we actually confirm, especially a weekly candle close below $21, then that would be bad news for the price of Chainlink. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close confirms in roughly around 2 days from now. And so if that actually happens, if we confirm a break below $21, in that case, the next support I'll be watching is sitting closer towards around $18 based on this high, closer towards around $18.20, give or take. And below that, we have support at around $16. And below that, more support at just above $12. And now, if the price of Chainlink actually avoids the weekly candle close below $21 and sees a bounce at some point over the next few days, then in that case, we still have a lot of resistance to the upside. So even if we bounce to the upside, continue to expect a lot of resistance at close to $31, which is pretty much exactly where the price of Chainlink rejected from, because we have that major Fibonacci level of resistance sitting at close to $31. And if we're zooming into the shorter term on the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of Chainlink, as of recording this video, is on the edge of a break to the downside, possibly just about to confirm this head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern that I've already been talking about over the last few days or so. I've been warning about this bearish pattern right now forming, and it's getting extremely close to potentially confirming. In fact, by the time you're watching this video, it might have already confirmed, because all we really need to see is a confirmed break with candle closes below this neckline, which on this chart is sitting at just above $21. But essentially, if we break below $21, especially with that weekly candle close below $21 in roughly around 2 days from now, that will be very bad news in the short to midterm, as in talking about at least over the next few days, but most likely in the coming weeks, that would be bearish for Chainlink if we confirm a break below $21. And in that situation, that would confirm this head and shoulders pattern, a bearish pattern, setting up a bearish price target in the short term, sitting at close to $15. So from the point of the breakdown from that neckline right there to that price target, that's nearly a 30% dump in the price of Chainlink, which could be a likely scenario for Chainlink moving forward here in the coming days or weeks if we actually properly confirm that break below $21, which at the current rate could potentially happen soon. And at the same time as this head and shoulders pattern possibly about to confirm, we also have this bearish divergence still currently affecting the price here in the short term, obviously holding the price to the downside, not really allowing a lot of bullish momentum. So that is still the situation here in the short term, as I've already been warning about for a while now on the channel. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the 8-hour time frame, we're continuing the rejection from this strong area of resistance here in the short term in between around $200 to $205. $20. So as I've also been saying here on the channel, expect a lot of resistance in that area, which has been playing out exactly as expected. And as for support, we do have potentially a bit of support at around $180 based on this previous bounce right here, obviously already proving a lot of support around that area previously, and also previous resistance now acting as new support at around 180. But if we actually confirm a break below 180, then in that case, we could possibly see a drop down towards this next major area of support here in the short term, sitting in between around 156 to 161. So we could possibly see around a $20 drop from 180 to 160 if we confirm a break below 180. And as for the trend and momentum for Solana, clearly the trend is looking more bearish at the moment, as I've been saying basically every day since all the way back up here weeks ago now on the channel at much higher prices. I warned about back then that it's very likely we're going to see much more bearish price action here in the short term, and I'm still seeing that right now. Because if we're looking at the price structure in the price of Solana right now here on the 8-hour time frame, we're still seeing lower highs and lower lows. We're breaking below key levels of support and rejecting from key levels of resistance, which is all bearish price structure. And so do not be surprised if we continue this short-term bearish trend to lower prices, as I've been saying basically every day since much higher prices, warning that we're going to see more bearish price action weeks ago. But remember, you can also make money even during bearish price action using things like short positions, for example, to actually profit along the way to the downside. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.